Hey, this is EAJ Man from Autopsy Live and the Skype Pirates. When I want to make it look like I give a shit about sports, I tune into Sports World Radio with Jeff Eskow.
Jeff
Doing about time. Doing about time. Got myself a problem.
All I want is to be loved. All I want is you. All I want is to be from somewhere, and a dress for me and you. Sometimes it feels impossible to get along. Feels impossible to get along. Again, I'm living with my family. Again, I'm feeling blue. Again, you've made me question our love. Again, with you, sometimes it feels impossible to get along. Yeah, it feels impossible to get on. Sometimes it feels impossible to get So now I sit alone in silence, waiting to hear from you. I pray there's something left inside us. If it's broken, I've got some glue. I'll fix it all for you. Fix it all for you. I'll fix it all for you. I'll fix it all for you. It all for you. But it feels impossible to.
Live from San Diego, it's Sports World Radio. You've never heard a sports show like this. Oh, no, you haven't.
Oh, blow me.
You got it.
Holy fucking shit.
What in the hell is your major malfunction?
Can't believe that goddamn son of a bitch did that fucking crap.
Don't give me any of your shit.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Those are your hosts, Jeff Eskow and Sean Mann. Remember, those who can't play sports, talk about it. These two tell it like it is. Tune into Sports World Radio for the fastest hour of sports of your life. So here they are, the douchebags of sports themselves, Jeff Eskow and Sean Mann.
Hey, welcome to Sports World Radio. What's going on, everybody? Glad you could be with us today. It's freaking Tuesday. That's right. Glad everybody's listening to Sports World Radio wherever you're listening to Sports World Radio, whether that be on sportsworldradio.com, on Spreaker.com, or on honestanswerradio.com. Don't forget about our iTunes. Subscribe to our iTunes channel, Sports World Radio, all one word. Head on over there and never miss a Sports World Radio episode. We got a lot of things going on today. That's right, we are a 2-hour show from now on, 6 to 8 p.m. East Coast, 3 to 5 p.m. on the West Coast. And if you live in the Central,
figure it out for yourself.
That's damn Skippy. Oh, that's right. That's Sean Mann, the update man, joining us. How's it going, pal?
I'm doing good, Jeff, and welcome everybody to Tuesday, March 11th, 2014. 6:04 p.m. on the East Coast, which makes it 3:04 p.m. on the West. And that's right. If you're in the Central, you figure it out for yourself. Hey, Jeff, how's it going? It's nice out here today. How you doing?
Hey, it's nice out there. You got sun today?
Yeah, pretty much all the snow is all melted and finally stopped raining, so it's kind of nice that it's been a nice day. Went for a little, just got a little fresh air today. A little walk before we had to get started for the show.
A little walkaroonie?
Yeah, always good to get out on nice days and go for walks.
Doing a little walkaroonie, aren't you? Oh, wow, a little walkaroonie before the show to get that fresh air in those lungs and ready for the show tonight, huh?
Yeah, Frank, figure that out for yourself. I'm not going to go through it. It's 6:04 p.m. on the East, now 6:05 and 3:05 out here in the West. Give me a break.
That's right. If you live in the Central, Frank, you know what time it is because you live in the Central, so shut the frig up. Speaking of Frank, Frank's going to be joining us in the second hour of today's show. It's Tuesday. Who knows what the heck Frank's going to talk about? And guys, if you think we have some energy, wait until Frank gets on the air because his freaking energy that's going to be coming, holy freaking cow, baby. Wow, wait for that. So that's going to be coming in the second half, in the second hour of the show today. So get ready for that. So, Sean, what is the first topic of the jour, please?
Okay, first story we're going to get to, and we talked a lot about this from yesterday's show for the fastest 2 hours in sports talk you'll ever hear on the doggone internet.
That show went pretty fast yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah. Phil Jackson and the New York Knicks, Jeff, here you go, finalizing the deal. Phil Jackson and the New York Knicks are expected to finalize a deal that will give the legendary coach control of the club's front office by the end of this week, according to a league source. And, Jeff, it has to make you a happy New York Knicks fan.
The only thing I'm worried about is if Jeannie Buss turns around to Phil Jackson and said, listen, my brother's out. You and I are going to run the team now. I'll be like, oh, no, because then he'll stay. Otherwise, we'll see him in New York by the end of the week. That'd be nice. I'm happy about that. But who's going to coach the team?
That's the biggest question mark of all, is figuring out who the Knicks would want to get as their next coach. Now, George Karl is an open possibility, although I haven't heard anything about it. George Karl could be a possibility, maybe Jerry Sloan, somebody that could just go in there and do the job and turn the team around. Mike Woodson hasn't.
Avery Johnson, I heard. Brian Shaw, I heard. I heard George Karl. I'm hearing a lot of names, so we'll see what happens. I've heard even Phil. Phil might just coach the team for 2 years and then be done with it, you know? Who knows?
And that's what you want. You've been itching for years to have Phil Jackson become the coach of the New York Knicks.
Well, they got to figure out. Well, see, like I said the other day on the show, I don't really care whether they keep Carmelo or they let him go. If they let him go, they're going to have plenty of money to play with. If they keep him, they're screwed. So it doesn't matter to me either way. I want him to stay, but then they get screwed. If he goes, then they got room to play with. So it's a double-edged sword right there. And Phil Jackson's got tons and tons of work to do. He can't. You know something? Between Amari Stoudemire and Borgiani, they're making $35 million next year. Holy freaking Toledo. Amari Stoudemire makes 25 of that alone. You can't move him even if you wanted to. And that's the last year of his contract. And you know damn Skippy, he ain't coming back in 2015. Because in 2015, they're going to have a crap load of money. From what I understand, they're going to go get Kevin Love and Rajon Rondo.
Well, the whole perspective of this thing is that Phil Jackson comes in, he's going to clean house. He's going to clean that team up. He's going to bring back the winning ways for the Knicks, because it's been 41 years since the last NBA championship for the Knicks. It's been 15 years since the Knicks' last NBA Finals appearance. So Phil Jackson will come in there and he will do what he did in Chicago and LA, and that's return a relaxed atmosphere, turn the team around and make the team a winning organization. But he has to find the right coach, because Mike Woodson, if Jackson were to say, Mike Woodson, you've done a great job, I want to keep you as coach, I would be shocked about that.
Woodson's done. Mike Woodson's finished.
Yeah, he's finished. But here's another thing. This morning when I got up, Avery Johnson was talking about it on ESPN today, and he was saying, he goes, if I'm an LA Laker player, fan, or that organization, you should be sick right now that the Knicks are close to picking. That's what I was saying. Just think about what it's like on both coasts. We live on the West Coast, and the Knicks, on the East Coast, they're all enjoying, happy in New York about it. If you're in LA, you got to be just sitting there stunned, because the Lakers wouldn't be where they're at right now without Phil Jackson.
Correct. I was watching ESPN. I was watching Stephen A. Smith, and what's that other douchebag's name?
Oh, the one that you dislike, Skip Bayless?
That's the guy right there. I was watching them guys talk today, and I know this is off topic, but they were talking about John Gruden talking about Tim Tebow. Did you see that little episode with John Gruden with that college quarterback, and it was comparing him to Tim Tebow?
Yeah, I saw that, and I was shaking
so
my
they were
head the whole
talking
time.
about
Like,
They were talking.
grief.
They were talking about that, and John Gruden said that he doesn't know why Tim Tebow's not in the league. So Skip Bayless was like, Tim Tebow should be in the league. He's a great quarterback. He could do this. He could do that. He could do this. He could do that. He can't do crap. If he was so good, then how come he's not playing in the league? Because he's not an NFL quarterback. Listen, one season does not make an NFL quarterback. So Skip Bayless, shove it up your ass. One season does not make an NFL quarterback.
Skip Bayless is so full
He's
of
so
it because
full of it, man. It drives me crazy. I can't stand the guy. That's why I have a Twitter account called I Hate Skip Bayless.
And that's why when you talk with Mike and Mike in the morning, you put, I hate Skip Bayless, and you talked with them and you sent them a little tweet.
I haven't been up for Mike and Mike show in a long time. Look at Frank. Guys, Tim Tebow is a great athlete. Did I mention quarterback? No, he's not a good quarterback. He's not an NFL quarterback.
What I don't like about Tebow is the fact that he brings his religion into the NFL. That's not right. Leave religion out of it and focus on the NFL. It's totally opposite, sports and religion.
Well, not only that, he's not a freaking NFL quarterback. I don't care what anybody says.
He's only won one playoff game like Tony Romo, and that was the overtime game against Pittsburgh.
Listen, I'm going to say something that I never thought I would ever say. Never in a million years. Tony Romo was a better quarterback than Tim Tebow.
Because he's been in the league a lot longer than Tim Tebow.
Okay, Tony Romo is a better quarterback than Tim Tebow, and that's about it. Okay?
Yeah.
Tim Tebow doesn't deserve to be an NFL quarterback. He is not an NFL quarterback, nor will he ever be an NFL quarterback ever again in the NFL. He might be a great quarterback in the Canadian Football League, but not in the NFL. He can't make it. And you want to know something? All you people that think Johnny Manziel is going to be an NFL quarterback, you're nuts.
Frank, are you out of your mind? Tim Tebow would crush Peyton, Brady, Rodgers, and he's going to probably throw both Manning people in there too and Breeze in physical skills competition.
I hate to tell you something.
Right.
Playing quarterback in the NFL is not a freaking skills competition, Frank. Yeah. I could give a flying fig Newton that Tim Tebow can crush Peyton Manning, Peyton, Brady, Rodgers, and Breeze in a physical skills competition. Okay? Playing quarterback in the NFL is not a physical skills competition. He cannot read defenses. He cannot throw the freaking ball. Okay? He is not an NFL quarterback. A physical skills competition.
He would crush them.
Woo-hoo! Tim Tebow's the best in a physical skills competition. I hate to tell you, a physical skills competition does not make for an NFL quarterback.
But as far as being a quarterback, I rest my case. That's what Frank says.
A physical skills competition has nothing to do with playing quarterback in the NFL. Nothing. I can't believe you said that, Frank.
I can't wait until we bring him on the second part of the show, second half, for the second hour.
I can't believe
he'll
did
debate
that.
with you, Jeff. He will.
He'll lose that debate. I'll hang up on his ass. He'll lose that debate. There's no way in hell anybody can convince me that Tim Tebow is an NFL quarterback, and that includes John Gruden.
Ooh.
That includes John Gruden. Hey, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. He's a great college quarterback. A great college quarterback. But not every great college quarterback, and even Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks make it in the NFL.
Oh, boy. And Frank goes 6 p.m. will be like Christmas morning as a child for me. And Jeff, we ready for a commercial break?
Something, Frank got me so crazy, I guess we are ready for a commercial break. You're listening to Sports World Radio on SportsWorldRadio.com. We'll be back right after this quick message.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Storms move fast, so we use the best technology. That includes Bosch Icon wiper blades.
They're beam blades with memory tension springs and an aerodynamic design,
which means they fit the curve of the windshield. Bosch Icon wiper blades wiped our windshield clean and outlasted any other blade we've used. In my opinion, the Bosch Icon wiper blades are the best blades out there. Bosch Icon wiper blades, how storm chasers clear the way.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
What kind of person gets to work in the sunshine instead of an office? This kind of person. I am the new way to work. I do have an office. I'm just not chained to it. It's a Regis office at one of the nicest addresses in the city. I don't have a lease, so I don't have to budget for stuff like phones, IT guys, and artwork for the lobby. Instead, I pay one low monthly rate that gives me a beautiful lobby that impresses my clients, a friendly receptionist, a fully furnished office, a place to meet, and a place to brainstorm with my fellow new way to workers. We wonder why more people don't realize that the new way to work is the best way to work. I come here because I want to, not because I have to. I am the new way to work, and I'd like you to join me.
Start now and get 1 month free. Call 1-800-OFFICES or visit regis.com/TV.
Welcome back to the show here on SportsWorldRadio.com. I am the host, Jeff Escow. With me, as always, is the co-host of Sports World Radio, Sean Mann, the Update Man. We used to have another nickname for you, wasn't it? The Weatherman, right?
Weatherman, Schmedley, the list goes on.
Schmedley. Speaking of Schmedley, I'm glad you brought that up. Speaking of Schmedley, anybody want to join in any of our reindeer games, like as playing in our fantasy baseball league, send your emails to send your emails to swrshow@gmail.com. That's swrshow@gmail.com, and we'll send you the invitation to join in our fantasy baseball game. Do me a favor, in the subject line, put in fantasy baseball. And if you want to play in our $1 billion bracket pick'em tournament that we got going on that we're playing in Yahoo, you want to join us for that? Head on over to Sports World Radio on Facebook. That's right, facebook.com/Sports World Radio, like our page, and then click on the link right there to join in our $1 billion bracket for Yahoo and see if you can win, or see if you can beat the guys from Sports World Radio. And also follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/Sports World Radio. All right, so what do you say we get going and come on back to the show? Hey, Frank, I don't give a flying fig what you say. Tim Tebow will never, ever be a freaking quarterback in the NFL. And like I said before we went to break, neither will Johnny Football. He's Johnny Football in college, but he ain't going to be Johnny Football in freaking the NFL. You know why? He pulls one of those running gigs and he gets slammed damn right to the freaking concrete or the dirt. Shoulder's going to go out. He's going to break a leg. He's going to get a concussion. That's going to be the end of his deal. Watch. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. People don't understand. I'm telling you.
Frank goes as far as Johnny A&M is concerned. If you get thrown out of the Manning Passing Academy, that's the only red flag I need.
It's not going to happen.
Wait, I just can't wait until Frank comes in. He'll come into the show and he'll be full of energy, and then he'll be ripping Jeff the whole time.
He's gonna try, but you know me, Sean. I'm gonna fire right back at his ass. Hey, before I get any more crazy, what's your next topic you got?
Okay, so we went from Phil Jackson to Tim Tebow. The next story we have, just a minute here, I got to find it.
I blew out the door. Go ahead.
Let's see. Barry Bonds, we go to the Major League Baseball. He says he's excited, a little nervous, but he says he came back to the Giants spring training camp as an instructor. Steroid boy Bonds. Jeff, what do you think?
I saw that. Steroid boy came back to play to be an instructor for the San Francisco just for 7 days, though, from what I understand, right? Just for 7 days, right?
Correct. It was Barry Bonds, all right. Only about 35 pounds thinner, along with 35-inch waistline. It was Bonds, all right. Only now a middle-aged man, 4 months shy of his 50th birthday. It was Bonds, all right, but with a much different disposition, a warm, infectious personality, one rarely seen during his 22-year career. So Barry Bonds coming back as an MLB instructor. He said he was a little bit nervous and stuff like that too, but of course you have to realize this is a guy who started with Pittsburgh and then took the performance-enhancing drugs and got in trouble in a lot of the steroid cases.
Yeah, I know. You know what? He looks a lot thinner, dude.
He does.
He looks a lot thinner. I guess he's not on the roids no more, huh? Because he looks pretty thin, don't he?
Yep.
He looks really thin. Look at Sprankle. Barry Bonds, an American sports tragedy.
I would have to agree with you there, Frank, because of all the trouble he got himself into with performance-enhancing drugs.
He did it himself. It's not a sports tragedy. It's a personal tragedy because he did it himself. Nobody put a gun to his head and, hey, here, stick this needle in your freaking arm and you'll get big. He decided he put it upon himself to do it. He put it upon himself to take baseball upon his shoulders. That's what he did.
Yeah.
So it's his own damn fault.
Well, that's why you call him Steroid Boy Bonds, and you don't think he belongs in the Hall of Fame.
He's never going to go into the Hall of Fame. They put his ass in the Hall of Fame. He better be in the same class as Pete Rose.
If Bonds gets in the Hall of Fame before Pete Rose, wow, there's some serious trouble with Major League Baseball.
I don't think it'll ever happen. I don't think anybody from that era is going to go into the Hall of Fame. But we'll see what happens. He's there for 7 days. We'll see if he can hack being a coach. And, maybe Bochy's going to evaluate him and see what happens. Maybe next year he's there for a little longer. Who knows? Season's coming up close, man.
Yeah, the season actually starts March 22nd, and that first game will be in Sydney, Australia.
Right. And we have our draft on the 21st, the day before.
Yep.
Right. We better hurry up and get some more people, otherwise I'm going to close the league down, I'm telling you.
The next story we get to, we're going to move to some NFL news here. Michael Vick for the NFL. Would he fit well as a backup quarterback for any team in the NFL? Jeff?
Not for my team, he won't.
You wouldn't want Michael Vick to be your backup quarterback to Eli Manning if he was with the Giants?
No. No, I wouldn't.
Oh, boy.
Would you?
I don't know who would actually take Michael Vick.
Would
That's
you?
the thing. No.
Okay, then why are you saying, oh, boy? You don't want him? I don't want him?
Because he's looking for a new place.
Who knows if he's looking for a new place? Maybe he'll stay right there in Philly and be the backup.
He won't like it. He'll probably say, I want to be the starting quarterback for the football team.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen even if he leaves. The only place it might happen is in Minnesota. Which obviously Adrian Peterson, because I've been hearing a lot about Adrian Peterson wanting Michael Vick over there. Said he would fit.
Vick, a Viking. Yeah, I've been hearing about that too.
No.
If Minnesota gets him and they try to make him the starting quarterback, Vikings could be okay, but I still think the Vikings have a lot of questions with their defense. That defense still needs to improve because, remember, last year they lost a lot of heartbreaking games last year because their defense folded and gave up.
Hey, did Minnesota get rid of all the quarterbacks?
I haven't even heard.
Because it's free agency time now, ain't it?
Yeah,
So they should have got rid of all their quarterbacks, man.
true.
I mean, Castle's gone, you got to figure, right? Ponder's gone, right?
Ponder is gone.
Castle gone, right? The only one you think they're going to probably keep is Freeman, right?
Yeah,
So bring in Vic.
and maybe he would be the answer, but Minnesota needs to. That defense is what needs to be corrected.
Well, they lost, whatchamacallit on the defense side.
Oh, I forget who they lost on the defensive
What the heck
side.
is his name? The big
Don't
guy.
know.
The big guy. The big defensive guy. I can't remember top of his name is slipping from my tongue.
Oh, gosh.
And that's not very fair.
Let's see if maybe I'll look for it.
What the heck? Frank,
The
you're in the room. What the heck's his name, Frank?
The encyclopedia man says he's having difficulties with his internet.
Figures. What the heck's his name? Oh, man. Oh, it's killing me, man. You're killing me. It's on the defensive. He's on the defensive side. Oh, slip of my tongue. He's right there. He's right there in the tip. Come on, Sean. Encyclopedia dude, come on.
I can't remember. I would need my encyclopedia man, but he says his internet is having difficulties.
What's the matter with you? Sorry, away from the headset for a moment. What was the question? What's the defensive guy who plays on the Vikings?
He's a big guy, Frank.
big
What's
guy.
his name, please?
He just got released from the Vikings.
Hope you can find that
Guys
before
are
we have to go
killing
to the
me.
next commercial break.
Guys are killing me, man.
Ask the big guy for the Vikings,
Big guy.
Frank.
Look at him. The big guy. I bet you if you go over to Minnesota Vikings. Thank you, Jared Allen. Thank you.
Yeah, Jared Allen.
Only took freaking a half hour to get the answer.
Hey,
Jared
we only have
Allen.
3 minutes before the next break. Come
I
on
know.
now.
Jared Allen. Yeah, he was released by the Vikings. I'd like to see him on the Giants, man.
Bring him to the Patriots.
Hey.
That's what. Yeah, Patriots need some defense.
No, Patriots are too old.
No way.
Yeah.
That's why they got to the AFC Championship game, only to lose to stinking Denver.
Hey, they let Talib go, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, I like to see the Giants pick him up or San Diego.
And of course, the Patriots are trying to negotiate. They've offered Julian Edelman a 3-year contract. So there's a lot of rumblings in the free agency right now for the NFL.
A lot of free agency rumblings, ain't there?
Yeah.
Lots of them. So don't forget, folks, in the second hour of the show, we got Frank Sprankle coming in to talk to us, and I can imagine what that conversation is going to be about.
Oh, he's ready to take him on
I'm
about
sure
the
he
Tim
is.
Tebow thing.
Tim Tebow, what a joke. Joke and a half. What's the next topic you got, buddy? Hey, you know what? Let's run to an update. Not an update. Let's run to a commercial break. Okay, and on the other side of this commercial break, we'll come back and we'll start a whole brand new topic. How's that sound, my friend?
Okay.
That sounds pretty good, right? That's a great idea. I'm glad I thought of it. You're listening to Sports World Radio right here on SportsWorldRadio.com. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Man Manual. Man comes with a multifunctional casing known as skin. It is remarkable. Warning, standard body wash can cause damage to man's skin. Maintain it properly with Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. It cleans man and protects skin from dryness. This will keep man's skin remarkable, even under extreme testing. Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. Skin care built in. Also, freshen man's exterior with new Aqua Impact Body Wash.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Why does consultant Jerry Howell stay at La Quinta?
Can you come back tomorrow?
Because only with La Quinta can Jerry instant hold the room tonight using just his phone number. And then power down for tomorrow on his pillow top bed. And when Jerry's refreshed, you know what he does?
We need ideas, people. Think.
Synergistic integration.
Genius.
He thinks outside the box.
I'm going for it. No.
La Quinta Inns and Suites take care of you so you can take care of business. Instant hold your next stay on your smartphone at LQ.com.
La Quinta.
Arizona going over to the Jets to play the Jets. What the heck is going on in New Jersey?
Guys, I've got a.
All right, welcome back to the show here on SportsWorldRadio.com. You're listening to Jeff and Sean right here on Sports World Radio. All right, Sean, next topic, buddy.
Our next story that we go to the NFL. Another big news is that the Dallas Cowboys have made some news. Judgment Day comes to the Cowboys. DeMarcus Ware, will he be back? The NFL landscape will begin to change dramatically at 3 p.m. Tuesday when the opening bell, of course, as we all know, goes for free agency. So, Jeff, where do you think DeMarcus Ware will go? Will he be back as a Cowboy?
New York Giants.
The Giants.
You know what? I wouldn't be shocked also if the Jets go after him hard. You know?
Maybe both New York teams will look at him.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets go after him hard because of who plays the defense over there. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, the Jets are like the Vikings. They got to improve their defense because there's a lot of unanswered questions about how they'll be in 2014.
Right. Exactly.
And I'm sure Rex Ryan would not mind that because he's more of a defensive-minded coach than a guy who's instead of a head coach.
Right. That's why I say you might see him over there with Rex Ryan because Rex Ryan's a defensive guy.
Yep. Or maybe your Giants will go get him.
I would like to see him go to. I say that. I'd say DeMarcus Ware should go to an NFC East team so he could play against the Cowboys twice a year and beat the crap out of Tony Romo.
Frank says, "Why not the Giants?" He's reading
exactly.
our minds. Division rival to the boys.
That's what I think, man. I would love to see DeMarcus Ware go to the Giants. Beat up on Tony Romo, hurt his back, knock him knock the average quarterback at best out of commission.
Jerry Jones would then say,
Why did I
well,
ever
the
get rid of
Giants
him?
should be fine for that.
No, yeah, exactly. Or he'll say, man, I can't believe I got rid of him. You like my Jerry Jones impersonation?
Yeah, but of course you know very well that he'll always say if we brought him on there, well, who do you think should be general manager of the team? Then we'd say Mike Holmgren. I said, what's Mike Holmgren done in Cleveland? Huh? Answer me that.
Whistle me that, Dixie. Mike Holmgren hasn't done anything in Cleveland. Mike Holmgren's not even in football anymore, is he?
Nope.
I think Jerry Jones should go get him as a general manager.
No, he would probably say, I'm still doing a very good job
No,
as
you're
general
not.
manager. You just give me some time. I'll fix the team up.
Hey, Jerry, even James Dolan, one of the most dumbest owners in professional sports, has a general manager. He's smart enough to have a general manager. Okay? Every sports franchise has a general manager except yours. When are you going to take note?
And Frank goes, he was in the Mike Holmgren was in the Browns office.
Was, not is anymore.
Yeah.
He got fired, man. He's out.
And then, hey, Jerry, can you spare me let's say a couple of thousand? That's what Frank says. And especially that stat that Jeff has, the 144 and 145 record. But, of course, for the Dallas Cowboys, they know that with Jerry Jones saying he wants to go right to work, he wants to make the Dallas Cowboys a very tough team in 2014 and get them back to the winning ways and get them back to the Super Bowl for the first time and when it goes to next year in 20 years.
Exactly. I mean, what flying fig, dude? You know?
Frank goes true, Jeff. Out of all 32 teams, only 31 GMs can be fired.
That's because there's only 31 GMs out of all 32 teams because the schmuck Jerry Jones is the general manager of his team.
He's the president, owner, and general manager, so he probably says I can do whatever the heck I want.
I saw him in an interview, and somebody asked him, "Are you ever going to give up the general manager?" Ask him about it. He says, "Let me ask you a question. The final decision comes down to me, and I have to write the check anyway, right? So why don't I be the general manager?" That's what he said.
Yep.
I understand that, Jerry. I get it. But you want to know something? You've been doing it so long, you've become blind to it. You need a different set of eyes and a different brain looking at it. Because you've seen it so long the way it is, you're stuck there.
He probably would say, just give me time. I'll fix the team up. I'll fix the defense. I'll get Romo his Super Bowl.
Look at Frank. Frank goes, I got an idea for what Cowboy fans can do to express the disloyalty for Jerry Jones. Wait till 6 p.m. hour.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait,
got an
Frank,
idea.
for that.
I got an idea. Nobody go to a game. Make the Cowboys play in an empty stadium.
Well, then the Cowboys would protest, and they'd say, that's not fair. The fans deserve to come. We're America's team.
You're not America's team. Okay, you know what? You want to be America's team? You got it. You're America's worst team.
Well, they would probably say, well, then how are we America's team when we've actually been winning, when we won 2 Super Bowls in the 70s, had winning years in the 80s, and won 3 in the 90s?
Okay, where's the 2000s? Huh? I'm still waiting. Nothing in the year. Nothing since when? 1996.
January of 1996. That's when Dallas won the Super Bowl, 27-17. Super Bowl 30.
Nothing since 1996.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go, Jerry Jones. Way to go, Jerry Jones.
Well,
hey,
what
Jerry.
if he came on
hey, Jerry.
and he said, hey, Frank, Jeff, or Sean, if you think I'm not doing a good job as general manager,
No, I don't want to
hire
be.
one of you three to be general manager.
I don't want to
Let's
work
see how
for
well
you.
do.
I don't want to work for you because then I can't criticize you. I don't want to work for you because I want to be able to criticize you. Hey, Jerry, you know what the definition of insanity is?
Say what?
Doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. And you know what? By you being the GM, you're doing the same thing over and over and over, and you keep expecting different results, don't you? Well, it's not going to happen until you get a different pair of eyes looking at the situation. That's how it is, my friend. Unstinking believable.
Then he probably would end up saying, I'll build this team in 2014 and we'll be Super Bowl champions in January or February of 2015.
He gave so much money to Tony Romo, he couldn't even keep Andre Ware. Boy, that's a great general manager you got there, Jerry Jones. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? His defense stinks so bad, he gave so much money to Tony Romo that he couldn't keep his best defensive player.
He probably thinks, I got my future quarterback that's going to win a couple Super Bowls and be in the Hall of Fame.
Dude, quarterbacks don't win championships. Defenses win championships. Case in point, Seattle Seahawks. Dude, Jerry Jones, you're so convinced that you got the right quarterback, you gave him so much money that you couldn't even keep your best defensive player. Boy, that's great GM work you got there, buddy.
I can't wait till Frank comes on and he talks more about Dallas, too. Look what he says. Guys, until the Heat won the 2012 NBA championship, I used to say that America's team was any team that played against the Miami Heat.
I still say that. I root for any team that plays against the Heat because I can't stand the Heat.
I have always disliked the Heat, even when they had Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway.
And I will continue to dislike the Heat until the day I die. I'll put it to you that way.
Frank, the only reason why Miami even got to the finals in 2012 is because my Celtics got screwed in the NBA Finals.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Michael? Michael is in the house. I like how he comes in. Hey, how are you sons of bitches doing? I like that, Michael. Way to enter the house. I like that. How you doing, you rat bastard? That's right.
Well, he's the big Cowboy fan, Michael is, and he has a, we'll see how well Dallas looks, though, this year. We'll see what they look like. And Jerry Jones could open up his mouth in the summer and maybe in July and say, I got great expectations for that Cowboys team. I think we got a very good chance to be Super Bowl contenders.
You know what I say to that? 45 points, 10 boards? I call him a ball hog. That's what I call him. You know what I call his 61 points the other night? Ball hog. That's what I call him. You know what I call Carmelo 62 points at the Garden the other night? Ball hog. You know what I call Michael Jordan's 60-some-odd point? Ball hog. You know what I call Kobe points 60-some-odd? Ball hog. That's what they are. Ball hogs. Hey, I just call them as I see them. Or I see them as a
ball hogs.
They are. They are. There's 4 other guys on the team. Unstinkable. That's why the Knicks are going to have trouble. That's why Phil Jackson's out of his freaking mind for taking that job. But he thinks he can do it. It's going to be awful fun to see. Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be awful fun to see how I brought it all the way right back around to Phil Jackson. The topic we started the show off with. See how I did that?
Yeah, I saw how you did that.
That's pretty damn good, isn't it? Well, since we're up against the break, I think I'm going to let you go ahead, my friend, and do your update. And then we'll take a break right after the update, and we'll continue to piss Frank off. And now
Michael brought up a good point. He says, real quickly before the update, he goes, Dallas is worried about the wrong things. We overpaid Tony. We overpaid Dez. Gee, why isn't there any money left for the one guy who provides the most pressure and gives our corners a chance to almost be decent.
What did I say 2 minutes before he came walking into the show? I said, Jerry Jones, what a great general manager you are. You gave all the freaking money to Tony Romo and Des Bryant, but you didn't save enough money for the best defense player you have on your football team, and now he has to go. That's great general manager work you got there, Jerry Jones. Hey, on that note, let's run to our first update of the day. Take it away, Sean, man, with the first update of the day.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, everybody. Welcome to Sports World Radio. It is Tuesday, March 11th, 2014, 6:44 p.m. on the East Coast, which makes it 3:44 p.m. on the West. Let's get caught up on what's going on. Major League Baseball, as you all know, here's a lot of the scores from today. A lot of games went final from spring training. In the Grapefruit League, the Red Sox had played 2 games. They won 1 game and lost the other. Red Sox 6, Orioles 5, Marlins 5, Red Sox 4. In 10 innings, extra innings, Blue Jays 3, Tigers 2. The Blue Jays beat Canada Junior National 12-2. Phillies and Braves. Braves 9, Phillies 1. Nationals 3, Yankees 2. Mets 9, Cardinals 8. Rays 7, Twins 1. In the Cactus League, in the bottom of the 7th inning, Angels 5, Mariners 3. The Rangers and White Sox tied at 6. Royals up 3-2 over the Dodgers, bottom of the 7th. Top 8th, Rockies 11, Cubs 0. Top 9th, Giants 7, Reds 5. Top 8th, Padres 6, Athletics 4. And then the other game, top 8th, Indians 5, Diamondbacks 1. In the NBA, here's the big headline coming. Phil Jackson will be expected to be named the guy to take the front office position for the Knicks by the end of this week. In games tonight for the NBA, as we are just winding down the season, not too far away, by the way, we got the Celtics at the Pacers, Kings at Pistons, Spurs at Bulls, Trailblazers at Grizzlies, Bucks at Timberwolves, Rockets at Thunder, and the Mavericks at the Warriors. We will be right back after this brief commercial break.
I had PTSD. Once I was back from Iraq, I was distant from everybody in my family.
We had a reunion of our unit, and you'd hear these spouses say, "Is your husband doing that? My husband's doing that too. I thought it was just us," and really understanding that, hey, this is a common experience.
I learned more to listen to what he was saying, and that made it easier for me to understand where his pain was coming from.
Warriors should know that resources are available. Learn more at realwarriors.net.
Every parent wants the safest and healthiest products for their family. That's why I created The Honest Company. I was just a concerned mom with a crazy dream. A wish that there was a company that I could rely on that did all of the hard work for me. I'm Jessica Alba, and The Honest Company was my dream.
LegalZoom has helped 1 million businesses successfully get started, including Jessica's. Launch your dream at LegalZoom today. Call us. We're here to help.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion?
Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone?
It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't Don't wait until it's too late.
Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to Sports World Radio, only on SportsWorldRadio.com and Spreaker.com and HonestAnswerRadio.com. All right, Sean, what's the next topic you got for me, buddy?
All right, next story. The next one we got, Dallas Stars center Rich Peverly, and this was a really sad situation, is in stable condition Tuesday at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center after collapsing during the first period game against the Columbus Blue Jackets on Monday night at the American Airlines Center. Jeff, your thoughts?
I saw that, man. That's during the freaking game. As soon as he came off the ice, he went right down. They stopped the game.
Yeah, there was emotion from the hockey players from both benches for the Columbus Blue Jackets and from the Dallas Stars at the American Airlines. My thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. I hope everything's okay for Rich Peverly, but he's still having to rest comfortably. At least he's conscious. That's a good thing.
Yeah, at least he's conscious. You bet. You betcha. Our prayers go out to him and his family. And he was supposed to play the next day, and they couldn't even play the game. I don't blame him, man. You know?
It would have been hard just to continue to go on because he collapses, and then all of a sudden they had to take him to the hospital immediately, and it was ugly. The game was postponed after the incident. A decision about the remainder of the game will be made at a later date.
Yeah.
Stars currently working with the NHL to determine scheduling arrangements. They play at the St. Louis Blues on Tuesday.
Yeah, like Frank said, he had an irregular heartbeat, which is kind of wild, man, you know. But, hey, it's kind of wacky that it happened right there, you know. But you never know when stuff's going to happen, you know. You never know when stuff's going to happen, man.
Yeah, you always got to be prepared for the unexpected. And when I was hearing about that, I'm not trying to bring up all my Boston teams, but as a Celtic fan, it happened with Reggie Lewis. He was on the court and he collapsed during back in the early 90s in an NBA playoff game against Charlotte. So you have to realize that when players collapse because of a heart condition, that's a very serious thing.
You done?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. That's a serious thing. You just got to be careful. And, our prayers go out to him and his family and hope if he's smart, he stays out for the rest of the season. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okay, what's the next topic you got there, you rat bastard?
All right, from the NHL to the Arena Football League. LA Kiss uniforms are as awesome as you thought they'd be.
I am so glad you brought this up.
Sure, buddy.
I saw that yesterday, and I nearly fell out of my chair.
There you go. Take a look right there. There's an example of the LA Kisses uniforms from the Arena Football League.
Yeah, how about that? Is that crazy or what?
It's nuts. It's good. The uniforms are really awesome when I look at that script image.
You see the pictures of them, right? You seen the helmet, right? They got the names on the visor, too. What the hell you see out the damn visor in the and team called the LA Kiss. Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons own the team.
Those are nice uniforms. I'll give you that. Yes.
That's pretty crazy. Other teams in the Arena Football League is the Talons, the Predators, the Thunders, the Gladiators, the Barnstormers. Where'd my computer go? Come on. Where the hell's the rest of them?
I don't know, Frank, if you can. Can you get the uniforms custom made with your name and number? I don't know. It doesn't even say if you can. I'd have to look that up.
I don't think so. But the helmet's cooler than the uniform itself, if you really want to know the truth. It's the helmet that's the coolest looking of them all. Okay, Barnstormers, the Sabercats, the Shock, the Power, the Rattlers, the Sharks, and the Kiss. Talons, Predators, Thunders, Gladiators, Barnstormers, Sabercats, Shock Powers, Rattlers, Sharks, Kiss. Oh, my God. Kiss. I mean, the helmet looks bitchin'.
The helmet is awesome. I'm looking.
Bitchin'.
What about the jersey, Jeff? What do you think of that?
It's just basically the flame is on the shoulder pads, on the top of them, and you got the number. The number's kind of in flame, and then I don't like the fact that it has a small LA and Kiss on it. If you're going to put the name of your team on the jersey, put it in big.
It's so small, you can barely even see it,
too. The number's 5 times as big as the name LA Kiss. That's ridiculous. Right?
Yes.
I mean, come on. That's my opinion on it. I mean, I'm looking at that LA Kiss, you can barely see it compared to and I'll tell you something, nobody's going to see that LA Kiss with those flames on the helmet and the face mask. Flames on the face mask, the helmet, and the shield guard. Flames on the top of the shoulder pads. I don't know what the pants look like because they're not showing them. And it's a black jersey.
Yeah, I'd like to see the way the pants look, but it's so small. Maybe they should just maybe make LA Kiss really, really big on the helmet. Well, probably not the helmet, but yeah, make it big on the jersey. I can barely even see it.
I'm going to have to get up there and try and get me some press passes to go to a couple of those games, man.
Well, yeah, you're an hour and a half away from San Diego to LA. There you go.
Yeah, last time I went up to see, last time I went up to an arena football game, I got a press pass for the game, and I went and I saw the Sabercats play.
There you go.
I was covering the Sabercats back then. So I want to get up there. I want to see Kiss, man. I want to get up there, get a press pass, get up there, and get down there and talk to the players and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Frank, let's see, 2 hours up. I think it's an hour and a half all interstate from San Diego to LA or LA to San Diego.
It's about 2 hours up I-5. Frank's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and the pants, he brings up a good point. The pants are probably black with the side trim of a flame. Probably they are.
Probably.
I'd have to look at it.
Well, they don't show pants, which is kind of wacky. But the LA Kiss, unstinking believable. You named the football team after the band. Unbelievable.
But the helmet's really great. I really like
the helmet's cool.
The helmets.
Yeah, I really, really like the helmet. The helmet's really, really cool, man. I think they did a really good job with the helmets. You know, I'm not too fond of the name, and I'm not too fond of the name being so small like that either. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And how the hell are you going to see out of that guard? You know, it's going to be tough to see out of that guard, man. It's going to be real tough to see out of that guard.
The next story we get before we have to bring Frank in here, my thoughts and prayers go out to the Ford family. As you all know, William Clay Ford passed away on Sunday. He was 88 years old. So William Clay Ford's wife, Martha Ford, will take over her late husband's controlling interest in the Detroit Lions. Jeff, your thoughts?
His wife is taking over?
Yeah, Martha Ford.
That team was in trouble when he was alive. Now that he's passed away and his wife was taking over, Guttenhimmel.
They have not been the same since the Barry Sanders days, and things got worse for the Lions, as you pointed out, when he was owner, or even when Matt Millen came in as the Lions, he was the president of the Lions, and then he got fired after a disastrous 31-84 record with him there.
That was one of his worst moves ever.
Matt Millen.
Bringing in Matt Millen. That was one of his worst moves ever as an owner, bringing in Matt Millen.
Is a joke. He was a joke for the Lions. There were games where the Lions were getting booed, and remember that 08 season, they went 0-16.
Yeah, they're terrible, man. I don't understand how Matt Millen was able to do, even get that gig, because he's terrible.
Well, he was upset because Detroit wasn't doing anything right. They had the 0-16 season, and then, of course, last year, remember, Detroit had a chance to win that division, and then they just folded and gave up, and then all of a sudden, Yeah, Matt Millen got fired, and then Schwartz got fired. Now their owner passed away.
Right, exactly. No, I totally agree, man. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Stafford. There's Lovie Smith is who's over there now?
Let me see who their coach is. Encyclopedia Man should be helping me, but he's having internet trouble.
That's okay.
That's all right. I'll look it up and see if I can find who the coach is here. I think it's Jim Caldwell. I think. All right, let me see here, Jeff. I think it is, before we bring Frank in here.
Is it Jim? Yeah, it is Jim Caldwell, right?
Yes. Yeah, Jim Caldwell is the new head coach of the Giants.
Yeah, it is Jim Caldwell. That's what I thought. It is Jim Caldwell. So it's going to be an interesting season for Detroit. We'll see what happens with them. We got coming up in the second hour of the show, we got Frank Sprankle coming in to join us, and I can guarantee you all hell is going to be breaking loose. So we'll be right back after these messages. You're listening to Jeff and Sean on Sports World Radio on SportsWorldRadio.com. We will be right back after this quick break.
Storms move fast, so we use the best technology. That includes Bosch Icon wiper blades.
They're beam blades with memory tension springs and an aerodynamic design,
which means they fit the curve of the windshield. Bosch Icon wiper blades wiped our windshield clean and outlasted any other blade we've used. In my opinion, the Bosch Icon wiper blades are the best blades out there. Bosch Icon wiper blades, how storm chasers clear the way.
My mother made the best toffee in the world. It's delicious. So now we've turned her toffee into a business. My goal was to take an idea and make it happen. I'm Janet Long, and I formed my toffee company through LegalZoom. I never really thought I would make money doing what I love.
We created LegalZoom to help people start their business and launch their dreams. Go to LegalZoom.com today and make your business dream a reality. At LegalZoom.com, we put the law on your side.
Hey everybody, this is Sky. And when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
All right, welcome back to Sports World Radio right here on SportsWorldRadio.com. Second hour of the show begins as promised. Bringing in our good friend, Mr. Frank Sprankle. What's going on there, buddy?
Hey, Jeff, let me ask you this question.
Uh-oh.
Are you popping the champagne right now, considering that Phil Jackson is now going to be a part of the New York Knicks organization?
I ain't popping crap.
Well, aren't you popping a few champagne bottles right now?
No, not at all.
Not at all. This should be a great day for you, buddy.
Why do you say that?
Well, look at it this way. If Phil Jackson is going to return and he's going to be in the front office to start, the question is, what does this mean for the future of the Knicks, the near-term future? Let's understand this.
Nothing.
You have free agents this summer. You have a huge free agent class this summer. On top of that, Carmelo Anthony, one of those free agents. Does he want to come back now that Phil Jackson is part of all of this? And, oh, yeah, does Phil Jackson, now being in the front office for less than a half season, is he just scouting out the talent in terms of looking maybe to replace Mike Woodson as head coach?
Woodson's gone, first of all.
Well, we know that.
That's first of all. Second of all, if I'm Phil Jackson and I'm taking over, he's got to find himself a coach. He's not going to find himself a coach. He's going to probably end up coaching. I'm okay with that. He's got to find a – see, the problem is he needs to find a coach that's going to coach his system. Nobody else coaches his system like he does. That's number one. Number two, if Carmelo Anthony stays or goes, if Carmelo Anthony stays, you're basically looking at the same roster you're looking at right now. If Carmelo Anthony goes, you're looking at a different roster because now they got money that they can use.
Okay, but here's the thing about Carmelo Anthony. With Phil Jackson added to the mix now, doesn't that attract free agents? Look, free agents are going to want to play for Phil Jackson. They know there's promise. They know there's a possible future here.
Frank,
if I'm a free agent, I would look at possibly coming to New York and play for the Knicks based on the fact that Phil Jackson is a part of this organization now.
There's only one free agent that they can get, and if they get him, they can't do nothing else, and that's Carmelo Anthony.
I think what it comes down to is to make sure that the Knicks, first of all, like I said, Jackson comes in. He's going to change everything for that team if Melo stays or goes.
They have such the worst contracts and salaries on that team. It's ridiculous. They can't do a hill of beans if Carmelo Anthony stays. They can't bring nobody in. They can't do nothing. Because
you got to get rid of Spencer because that Spencer guy, he has been a guy who really doesn't even want to play for the Knicks. It seems like, remember that time when he was yawning, Frank and Jeff? It seems like during the game he didn't even care.
The only way they're going to get, if they can't trade him, they got to cut him. And then they got to eat the salary. So it's still on their payroll. See what I'm saying?
Right.
They got no money to play with if Carmelo Anthony comes back to the team. They can't get no other free agents. They're paying Stoudemire $25 million next year. They can't do nothing.
Stoudemire, what has he done lately?
Well, he's actually played pretty well lately. But his legs, he's done. He got his money 5 years ago. He's happy. He's on his last year of his contract next year. They have a lot of money in 2015 coming. They have to convince Carmelo to sign this year and hang on.
A lot of decisions, if you ask me, for the New York Knicks, what they're going to do when Jackson comes in. But Jackson, I believe, with what he did with Chicago and L.A., he'll do the same thing with New York. And this is a big victory and a big thing for Knicks fans.
I think it's great that Phil Jackson's coming back because this is in all probability going to be his last NBA job, and he is coming full circle. Guys, Phil Jackson is returning home. He won, I believe, 2 NBA titles with the New York Knicks as a player. We know about the accomplishments. Sean, you mentioned what he did in Chicago, Los Angeles, winning all those titles as a head coach. Phil Jackson is coming home. That's what's great about all of this.
Sure is. And it makes New York a team that can be a threat in the Eastern Conference. They're not going to make the playoffs this year, but with Jackson coming in, then he'll do whatever he can to make all the moves to make the Knicks a powerful team and bring back the winning ways from the 1990s when they were really tough under the Pat Riley and Jeff Van Gundy days. And Jeff remembers those days really well.
Seems to me you guys got more faith in him than I do. Because I know what they're up against with the salary cap, and he can't do nothing. Absolutely nothing, and you guys think he can.
Well, with Jackson, in my opinion, the first decision you do, you get through this year, or what you could, and you do this with Mike Woodson. You let him remain as coach, or you fire him now, bring in an interim, and then you start looking at coaches, because the Knicks and Mike Woodson, they don't match.
Why are you going to fire him now with 20 games left in the season? What the hell's the matter with you? Let him finish out the season, and he's gone. Done. He knows it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like an NFL head coach that is on the hot seat, and he knows typically week 17. He's already been told his job status, and as a result, it's, hey, we're going to let you coach week 17, and then after week 17 has come and gone, we're going to make it official. But I guess the question is, does Phil Jackson look at coaching again? Why not?
Who else is going to coach that team?
George Karl. I think he would be the perfect fit for them.
I'm going to say something. George Karl and Carmelo Anthony do not get along. That's one of the reasons why Carmelo Anthony left Denver.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's not going to work. Avery Johnson, I can't stand him as a coach. I don't think he's a good coach. Brian Shaw, he's already in Denver.
Well, here's the thing with Avery Johnson. He has the experience. He's a good coach. He did, the best job he did was with the Dallas Mavericks. He took Dallas to the 2006 NBA Finals before they got knocked out in
Let
6
me
games
ask you a
against
question,
Miami.
Sean.
So there's a lot of questions.
Sean, let me ask you a question. Does he run the triangle offense?
No, because here's the thing. Avery Johnson would want to run it his own way.
That's not
Jackson
what Phil
wants
Jackson
it to be done his way with the triangle offense.
So, who do you think's going to win?
Jackson.
Exactly. That's why Avery Johnson.
Because Jackson's accomplished everything. Dude, he doesn't even need this job.
That's why Avery Johnson's not going to be the head coach. He's going to look for a coach who runs the similar offense he does.
Here's a slight possibility for a coach, Frank and Jeff. I don't think it's going to happen. I know he enjoys being in the broadcast booth. But let's say Phil Jackson reaches out to Jeff Van Gundy. Could Jeff Van Gundy return to coaching the Knicks?
I'm down with that.
I don't think that's going to happen. He's already coached this once. I don't think Van Gundy would want to coach it again.
I don't think it's going to happen either, but I'm down with it if it happens.
How about Stan Van Gundy?
I don't like him, man. I don't like that Van Gundy at all, and I don't know why. I'm not that Van Gundy of a fan.
Well, Van Gundy had problems controlling Dwight Howard in Orlando. The question is, can he coexist? Well, can he coexist with a superstar such as Carmelo Anthony, pending he is re-signed during the offseason?
Okay, is Stan Van Gundy a Phil Jackson guy?
That's another thing. I think the best option is Phil Jackson has to take the reins of this team himself.
Yes.
Because no one is going to want to work under him because they are going to want to implement their own system. In some aspects, it may be similar to Phil Jackson, but it's got to be completely identical to Phil Jackson. And that is what possible coaches aren't going to want to do. So I think the only option here is Phil Jackson scouts this team for 22 games left. And then obviously we know about Mike Woodson's status. And Phil Jackson returns to the bench in 2014-15, trying to win more titles as a head coach of a third NBA team.
Okay, Phil Jackson, from what I understand, doesn't like to watch college basketball, which is not really a bright thing right now because if you're going to take over the Knicks organization, you got to watch a lot of college basketball now because the draft is coming, right? You know what he like? You know what
coming in a few months.
Yeah, you know what he likes to watch instead?
What?
NHL playoffs. And NHL.
Yeah.
And NHL.
NHL playoffs. I love the NHL playoffs.
He likes to watch NHL hockey in the NHL playoffs because it's faster and it moves quicker.
And the sudden death overtimes.
He doesn't watch basketball.
Jeff and Frank, here's another question I'm going to ask you about the coaching possibilities for the Knicks.
Go ahead.
Suppose Phil Jackson decides to talk to a college basketball coach about coaching the Knicks. Do you think that'd be a good move?
No.
I don't think it would be a good move, and I have to agree here with Jeff because this is a head coach that doesn't, in all probability, know what the NBA is like. Unless this coach played in the NBA, then perhaps that would be the only option. But in terms of a college coach coming over from the collegiate ranks to the NBA, I don't see that happening.
College to pros is pretty tough.
No.
We've seen it with other coaches who've gone from the college level to the NBA, and sometimes it works and sometimes it really doesn't.
And the only coach that he would probably even think about going to get would be Coach K. And Coach K ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, and Mike Krzyzewski, you don't even know how long he's got left to be coach of the for Duke and how much time he has left for coaching in general. Oh, go ahead, Frank.
Well, but there's a thing too. Mike Krzyzewski, if he's going to coach in over 20 years, it's going to be at Duke. Do you guys remember when there was speculation about him taking over the Los Angeles Lakers job? And I was thinking, what a joke this is. That was after Phil Jackson went on his sabbatical about a decade ago.
I remember that. Yeah,
I remember. Flip Saunders got the job. They didn't make the playoffs in 2004. And I'm thinking to myself, or pardon me, 2005, I should say. And I'm thinking to myself, boy, what type of a joke is this? Mike Krzyzewski, it's Mike Krzyzewski in the NBA. You never heard that in the same sentence until 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Frank, here's the way it happened. They looked at Krzyzewski, and you know who LA hired after Jackson left? Rudy Tomjanovich.
Yeah, well, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm almost positive that he's going to be coming down and coaching.
Yeah, he's been there since since the early '80s as Duke's head coach. He wouldn't want to go to another to the pros.
Phil Jackson's probably going to end up coaching that team.
He's got nothing to lose.
No, absolutely nothing to lose.
And his experience.
Good.
And when that thing ends with Phil Jackson and James Dolan, it's going to be very it's going to be
volatile.
That's the word I was trying to say. Yeah, it's very volatile. It's going to be it's going to be nasty.
Before we get to the commercial break, though, Frank, it's a question for you.
Keep it short.
My question is, if you're a Laker fan, you ought to be just sitting there shaking your head about this whole thing that Jackson would go to the Knicks instead of returning back to L.A.
Actually, Sean, I may not, because let me speak from experience here. I had a chance to witness Phil Jackson behind the bench of the Chicago Bulls for 6 NBA titles in 8 seasons. Seeing him do what he did with the Lakers in the early part of 2000s, it was tough for anybody in Chicago. But in the end, many people in Chicago came to accept it. Perhaps it had to do with the terms of how Phil Jackson left. That's for a whole nother story. But it's going to be interesting to see what's going to be like when Phil Jackson returns to Los Angeles, to Chicago, places in which he has accomplished, gentlemen, 11 titles as a head coach. Wow.
Yep. All right, let's run to a quick commercial break. On the other side of this commercial break, we'll have some more Frank stuff to talk about. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. You're listening to Sports World Radio.
What kind of person gets to work in the sunshine instead of an office? This kind of person. I am the new way to work. I do have an office. I'm just not chained to it. It's a Regis office at one of the nicest addresses in the city. I don't have a lease, so I don't have to budget for stuff like phones, IT guys, and artwork for the lobby. Instead, I pay one low monthly rate that gives me a beautiful lobby that impresses my clients, a friendly receptionist, a fully furnished office, a place to meet, and a place to brainstorm with my fellow New Way to Workers. We wonder why more people don't realize that the new way to work is the best way to work. I come here because I want to, not because I have to. I am the new way to work, and I'd like you to join me.
Start now and get 1 month free. Call 1-800-OFFICES or visit regis.com/TV.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Storms move fast, so we use the best technology. That includes Bosch Icon wiper blades.
They're beam blades with memory tension springs and an aerodynamic design,
which means they fit the curve of the windshield. Bosch Icon wiper blades wiped our windshield clean and outlasted any other blade we've used. In my opinion, the Bosch Icon wiper blades are the best blades out there. Bosch Icon wiper blades, how storm chasers clear the way.
Welcome back to Sports World Radio on SportsWorldRadio.com. Joining us in the second hour of today's show is our good friend Frank Sprankle, and also sitting with me, like always, the co-host of the show, Sean Mann, the update man. All right, Frank, what's your next topic you got there, buddy?
Dude, why don't we talk about the NFL? And it feels like New Year's Day. Let's open up the booze because the new NFL season has actually commenced already with free agency. And boy, oh boy, I want to talk about some of these free agents. It seems that defense is really telling the tale in terms of the story as far as free agents go. Now, you and Sean in the first hour were talking about DeMarcus Ware. Why don't we start there? As far as DeMarcus Ware goes, he's getting out of Dallas. That may be a blessing for him because under Jerry Jones, that team is not going anywhere. Now, DeMarcus Ware, he's going to end up somewhere else, but the question is where? Now, here's what teams are going to have to take into account. DeMarcus Ware has been bothered by the injury bug the last few seasons. And as far as him being bitten by the injury bug, you have to look at age too. He's losing some of his physicality. The question is, how much more does DeMarcus Ware have, and how much money is he going to be asking for?
I'd probably say that DeMarcus Ware will be asking for, there are some players that are in it for the money, and that's the only thing they care about instead of taking less and going for the championships. He'll probably want to he'll go to a championship team. And you're right. Dallas is not going to go anywhere. And Frank, I like even what you had for your comment. Even Jeff would agree with it too. DeMarcus Ware could just go right to their rivals, the Giants, and that would really make things interesting for 2014. Jeff?
Damn Skippy it would. I'd be watching that every time they played against Dallas. Now, let me ask you a question, Frank. Excuse me. Do you think Jerry Jones got rid of DeMarcus Ware excuse me, because he's losing his step and getting older, or because he gave too much money to everybody else and doesn't have enough money to give to DeMarcus Ware?
Oh, I think it has to do potentially with the money factor here. Oh, no question about it. As a matter of fact, Jerry Jones, let me say this, guys, about Jerry Jones. If the Dallas Cowboys job were open, the Dallas Cowboys head coaching job, that is the one job in all of the NFL that I would not want to take, because I would hate the fact that you have Jerry Jones, who is not only the owner, but the vice president of football operations, the general manager. You have Jerry Jones breathing down your neck. And as a result, you have 32 NFL 32 teams in the NFL. That is arguably the worst. Hold on, Sean. That is the worst job, I think, in the NFL when it comes to coaching the Dallas Cowboys.
I was just going to point out, Frank, if you look at the statistical facts about the Cowboys coaches over the years since he came in February of 1989, the first bad move that Jeff and I have always agreed on, which was a bad decision, and even for Cowboy fans that they've hated, was when Jerry Jones first got rid of Tom Landry, who was there from 1960 to 1988. Then he hired one of his buddies he went to school with, Jimmy Johnson, 1989, 1994. Then he brought in Barry Switzer, Dave Campo, Bill Parcells, Chan Gailey. It's been a list of coaches. Right. If I was coach of the Cowboys, I would have a lot of responsibilities, and he'd be breathing down my neck, making sure, hey, you better deliver. I'm going to can your tail. Jeff, what do you think about all that?
Goodness.
I just think that if he was a lot smarter, Jerry Jones, he would have saved some money for DeMarcus Ware. But obviously he's not that smart, and obviously he doesn't think too highly of his defense.
I say what's going to end up happening, Dallas, if they were to have the fourth straight year of being 8-8, or if they don't make the playoffs, and I know how you feel about ifs, Jeff, Jason Garrett gets fired after 2014.
Then who's going to want the job?
Nobody.
I mean, somebody will want the job, but honestly, that is the one job. I would rather be the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, the Jacksonville Jaguars. You name any team in the NFL, even some of the worst teams that have had trouble putting it together with mediocre ownership, I would rather have the job of the Detroit Lions over the job of the Dallas Cowboys, even with the late William Clay Ford running the team. Because at least with William Clay Ford, you would not have the interference. You may not have a good football teams in terms of free agent signings, but at least you don't have your owner breathing down your neck, being pretty much the face of the organization here. So to be honest, as far as if I were to put a list of NFL teams that I would want to be the head coach of, the Dallas Cowboys are 32nd.
You know, if he was an MIA owner, you know, just let the people do what you hired them to do instead of micromanaging everything, I think that team would be a lot better off. But that's not in his nature, is it?
But you are right though. Who would be the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys when Jason Garrett is gone? That's a question. What Jerry Jones would end up doing is he'd go after
a college coach.
He'd go after a coordinator. That's what the owners do these days. They always go after an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, because there's not a veteran coach that can coach the team. The veterans are all retired. Bill Parcells, of course, was there, and he was the only one who was kind of getting Dallas into the playoffs, but they never even won playoff games under Bill Parcells.
I'm seeing it this way, gentlemen. As far as what is going on with the Cowboys, it is about time that the Dallas Cowboy fans start to take a proactive approach. And I mentioned this in the chat room in the first hour, and here's the point I want to make. If there is one point I have to make before I depart, it's got to be this here. The Dallas Cowboys fans need to take a proactive approach, and here's what you do. We had the Fire Millen marches in Detroit. Well, how about for the Dallas Cowboy fans? You go to a game at the big phone booth, as I call it, AT&T Stadium. You're there for the opening kickoff, and upon the opening kickoff, you leave, you get your picket sign, and you picket around AT&T Stadium in a Fire Jerry Jones campaign.
Lots of luck with that one.
That's the problem with the Dallas Cowboy fans. The Dallas Cowboy fans want to go to that stadium just to be seen. It is a social event. How many of them are actual football fans?
The way I look at it is that with Dallas Cowboys fans is that, 3 straight years they go 8-8. And then, of course, 2008, they lost on the final day, week 17 to Philadelphia. For Cowboy fans, there's a lot of them. I've got some friends. I got a friend of mine who's a Cowboy fan and some other people who are Cowboy fans. Just so sick that it's always had to end that way and be 14-21 for Tony Romo in the month of December. Like, it always seems like they're jinxed, they're cursed, and it always ends in heartbreak. And it's like, wow, what's ever happened to the tradition about where they were in the 1990s? Think about all the great teams they had when they had Aikman and Smith and Leon Lett, Michael Irvin, and Deion Sanders. Gone. And now all of a sudden with Romo thinking that he's going to be the answer, he wasn't. Think back to that game against Green Bay when they blew that game. I'll never forget hearing it all over ESPN and on the Dallas radio stations, how upset and thought, here we go again, another collapse down the stretch.
You know what? This translates America's team into either America's chokers or America's jokers. Whatever you want to call it. Seriously, you can even choose. You can call the Dallas Cowboys America's chokers or America's jokers, because it has been, for the last 3 seasons, an NFC East team has said access denied to the Dallas Cowboys when it comes to making the playoffs. It was the New York Giants in 2011. It was the Washington Redskins in 2012, the Philadelphia Eagles in 2013.
And it's going to be the New York Giants in 2014.
I just think, though, that with the heartbreak they've suffered, it's just nothing seems right. And Jeff has a good way of looking at it. He has that big stat on that paper. I know, 144 and 145 since 1997, and they've one playoff win, because after that, they had lost 6 straight games. Actually, they're now 1-7 in the last 8 playoff games. After they beat Philadelphia, then they got humiliated by Minnesota. Then it's just boom, right back down to the losing ways. My biggest surprise with the Cowboys was there were a lot of people that were expecting them to beat the Giants in that 2008 NFC divisional playoff game, but that didn't happen. They lost, and Jerry Jones was upset. Jerry Jones always gets angry when he just can't get it done and when he loses, and that's what he said a few weeks ago. He goes, I've been here for 25 years, and I'm disappointed that I have never gotten Tony Romo his Super Bowl championship ring.
He's not going to get one either.
Wait a minute. Get him his Super Bowl championship ring. That has got to be earned. And quite honestly, Tony Romo plays for the Dallas Cowboys. So, of course, the pressure is going to be on him. If Tony Romo doesn't like this pressure, then you know what? Go to Buffalo. Go to Jacksonville. There won't be any pressure on Tony Romo. He can play in the NFL and be on easy street.
Easy street.
Easy street, my friend.
Easy street. But that's not going to happen.
What happens if he opens his mouth again throughout the summer, Jones does, and he says, I like our team, we're going to make noise, and we're going to be good in the NFC East, and we're going to win the whole thing.
That's what he's
Gentlemen, let me say this. When do you honestly hear about the Dallas Cowboys in terms of serious Super Bowl talk? The only time over the last, decade, I would have to say, was almost 4 years ago when the Cowboys hosted Super Bowl 45. Jerry Jones seemed to be determined more than ever to have the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl.
I remember.
But that's my point, Sean. When do you actually hear serious Super Bowl talk among Jerry Jones, among the Dallas Cowboys? You really don't, but you did in 2010 because Jerry Jones, all he cared about was, I'm hosting a Super Bowl. I want to accomplish the fact that my team will be the first to host the Super Bowl in its own stadium.
The beginning of every year, I hear him say it.
Well, I remember that, and Jerry Jones was talking all big about that, and he was saying, yeah, Dallas is going to be representing the NFC. We're going to be hosting the Super Bowl at home in front of the best fans in the world, the Cowboys, and it didn't happen. And then they watched Green Bay and Pittsburgh, and then Jerry Jones received a lot of criticism too. Remember the difficulty he had with the fans and the extra seats? He got criticized for that too.
I remember.
Yeah, Jeff, you remember that too.
Yeah, sticking fans behind poles and beams. Yeah, that's great. Way to go there, Jerry Jones. You're lucky I didn't go to the game and have to sit behind a beam, because if I had to sit behind a beam and I found you in the stadium, that beam would be shoved up your ass.
Dude, why sit behind a beam for the Super Bowl? Seriously, you have a high-definition television in your living room. You're sitting behind a beam. You have people to your left and to your right, and all of a sudden, oh, my goodness, here comes the beer vendor. Oh, my goodness, here, this person wants a beer. I got to pass the beer over. Oh, I got to be careful I don't spill.
No.
Oh, my goodness, here comes the change. Oh, I can't see. I'm having the game's going on. I'm behind a pole. I can't see anything. I could be home watching this instead of paying about $4,000 for this stupid ticket in which I'm being obstructed. Dude, it's better to watch. Maybe I'm making the argument here about the NFL in general. It's better to watch it at home.
You are making the argument. All right, let's run to the final update of the day. Sean Mann, take it away with the final update of the day.
Thank you, Jeff. Welcome to the bottom of the hour. Here we go. The NBA, Celtics Pacers right now, first quarter with 2 minutes and 33 seconds in the first. Indiana Pacers 18, Celtics 16. Kings at Pistons, Spurs at Bulls, Trailblazers at Grizzlies, Bucks at Timberwolves, Rockets at the Thunder, and the Mavericks at the Warriors. Those are 7 games on this Tuesday night. Yesterday's finals from the NBA, Bobcats 105, Nuggets 98, the Nets 101, Raptors 97, Heat 99, Wizards 90, Knicks 123, 76ers 110. The Bucks 105, Magic 98, Hawks 112, Jazz 110, Clippers 112, and the Suns 105. In the National Hockey League, here are the games for tonight on this Tuesday. Sabres 1, Predators 0 with 5 minutes and 36 seconds in the first period. Devils 1, Flyers 0, 7 minutes 3 seconds in the first period. The Rangers and Hurricanes game is scoreless in the first period. Red Wings 1, Blue Jackets 0. Other games, Coyotes at Panthers, Capitals at Penguins, Stars at Blues, Oilers at Wild, and the Maple Leafs at the Sharks. Tomorrow in the NHL, there will be 4 games, and I'll have the scores for those and keep you updated. Bruins at Canadiens, Canucks at Jets, Blackhawks at Avalanche, and the Ducks at Flames. Hey, everybody, we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Welcome to the Man Manual. Man comes with a multifunctional casing known as skin. It is remarkable. Warning, standard body wash can cause damage to man's skin. Maintain it properly with Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. It cleans man and protects skin from dryness. This will keep man's skin remarkable, even under extreme testing. Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. Skin care built in. Also, freshen man's exterior with new Aqua Impact Body Wash.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Why does consultant Jerry Howell stay at La Quinta?
Can you come back tomorrow?
Because only with La Quinta can Jerry instant hold the room tonight using just his phone number. And then power down for tomorrow on his pillow top bed. And when Jerry's refreshed, you know what he does?
We need ideas, people. Think. Synergistic integration. Genius.
He thinks outside the box.
I'm going for it. No.
La Quinta Inns and Suites take care of you so you can take care of business. Instant hold your next stay on your smartphone at LQ.com.
La Quinta.
Hey, welcome back to Sports World Radio on SportsWorldRadio.com. Glad you all could be with us. We do our show here on SportsWorldRadio.com every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. on the East, 3 p.m. on the West. And if you live in Essential,
please figure that out for yourself.
Thank you very much, Sean. And we got Frank Sprankle joining us in the second half of today's show. Frank's going to be joining us in the second half of every Tuesday and Thursday show, bringing his sports touch to Sports World Radio. What's going on there, Frank?
Hey, let me just say it's great to be with you guys. The second time I've been with you, Jeff. And Sean, this is a momentous occasion. The first time I have ever been on the airwaves with you. So finally, I got to get the old bucket list out. Show with Sean Mann. Okay, it's been crossed out.
It's always great doing a show with you, Frank. As we last left off from the update, talking about Dallas Cowboys this and Dallas Cowboys that, and yeah, Frank, you could call them America's chokers, and that's a good way of looking at it, too.
Well, of course. And it seems that all Jerry Jones cares about is the stadium. Obviously, I've never been there. It looks great. I know people that have been there. You can see it from miles away. But I got to say something else, too. One thing about the firing of Tom Landry, yes, that was tough, but that's a decision that, I'll be honest, I think needed to be made because the Cowboys, obviously, they'd hit rock bottom in terms of the records. Tom Landry, listen, legendary head coach, Hall of Fame head coach, very worthy of it. I guess the way the firing was handled was not appropriate because Jerry Jones was looking for the replacement before announcing that Tom Landry had been fired. So I will say,
Jeff, I was just going to say, and Jeff, you were so disappointed when you heard the news that Tom Landry was fired by Jerry Jones.
Yeah, I was a big Tom Landry fan way back then, and what he did and how he did it and what he did, it was disgusting. It was disgusting. Frank, what's your next topic?
Well, I want to keep it in terms of the offense now as far as NFL free agency, and obviously people are going to be paying attention to the quarterbacks. And one Michael Vick, where will he end up? I heard you guys were talking the first hour. Michael Vick will end up somewhere, and there will be some team that will welcome him with open arms, considering what he has been through. He has already learned the lesson from the obvious, but you got to understand, too, the demotion to go to Nick Foles, he took it very well. I can see Michael Vick ending up with some team. Obviously, we don't know who that team's going to be, but it could be in a backup role or even possibly competing for a number one starting job, a la the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I think in terms back, maybe with the New York Jets, maybe with Geno Smith. That would be a great experience for Smith in terms of the mentoring and the leadership that Michael Vick brings. And yes, one thing about Michael Vick, he has grown up tremendously.
I would say, though, still, Jeff and Frank, that option A, Minnesota is the first option. And I've been hearing a lot of rumblings, a lot of rumors that the Vikings are looking at Michael Vick. And I just looked on ESPN for our first hour for the show, and they said the Jets have expressed interest. But I don't know if I could see Vick in a Jet uniform. Jeff, what do you think?
That's disgusting.
Michael Vick as a Jet?
Yeah.
He would be a backup, I will tell you that, because Geno Smith's going to be your starting quarterback next year. But hey, Michael Vick, he guns up in Minnesota. He's got a better opportunity to start as opposed to ending up in New York and wearing the gang green. But here's the thing. I still think Michael Vick can play. Why don't we look at his last 3 seasons, full seasons that is, outside of 2013 with the demotion of Nick Foles. He threw for 21 touchdown passes in 2010, 18 touchdown passes in 2011, 12 touchdown passes in 2012. Okay, maybe the production has gone down, but still from the indications, Michael Vick can still play. Maybe not, maybe in the twilight of his career, but he can still sling it.
Who's a better quarterback, him or Tim Tebow?
Michael Vick. No question about. I know where you guys were coming from. Listen, what I was just saying is that Tim Tebow, if you were to put Tim Tebow in a physical skills competition, maybe the closest thing to Navy SEAL training alongside Peyton Manning, alongside Tom Brady, alongside Aaron Rodgers, alongside Drew Brees, Tim Tebow would whip all of them. Now, having mentioned that, it doesn't make you a quality quarterback, bar none.
What the hell does that have to do with it? What the hell does that have to do with playing quarterback in the NFL physical freaking competition?
It's not about the physicality, Jeff. It's about, can you pick up the opposing defenses? Can you read strategy? Dude, quarterback is like being in the batter's box. It's more mental than it is physical. Take the ball under center, out of the shotgun, roll the pocket maybe to the left, roll it maybe to the right, and try to find the wide open target either inside the numerals, outside the numerals, or dead center down the hashes. Now, maybe the course of quarterbacking has changed with these read option quarterbacks from these young pups, such as a Russell Wilson, such as a Colin Kaepernick. But I want to say this about Wilson and Kaepernick. As great as they may be now, they may want to focus more on their passing game, because when you get to 30 and beyond that, you're not going to have quite the physical skills as you did when you were in your 20s.
As soon as Tim Tebow realizes he's not an NFL quarterback and decides to play wide receiver or tight end, then he'll be playing in the NFL.
Listen, I admire Tim Tebow greatly, but I got to be honest. One thing that has disappointed me about Tim Tebow, I believe ego has been getting in the way of Tebow. Look, I understand he has the dream to play quarterback in the National Football League, but he just doesn't have the ability. He doesn't even have the body. He has the body of a fullback or a tight end. I think Tim Tebow, if he wants to keep the NFL dream alive, he should look at a position on the offense, particularly a fullback, maybe a tight end spot. But I think for Tim Tebow, and I hate to say this because I never thought I'd be saying this, I think ego is getting in the way of Tim Tebow here.
Frank, it's not just his ego, it's his people around him telling him, yes, you can do it, yes, you can do it. No, don't settle for being a wide receiver. You could be an NFL quarterback. Well, you know something? All those people that were handling you were freaking wrong, and your ego sucks. Because if you would have knocked your ego off your damn shoulder and became a wide receiver or a tight end, you'd be in the NFL today. But because all those people you have around you told you that you're better than that and you should be an NFL quarterback, you're not in the NFL, are you?
Well, exactly. And you know what? Tim Tebow should be listening more to his heart than to his outer circle. See, these are people that want to live through Tim Tebow. They want to be credited for Tim Tebow's success. That is why they are telling Tim Tebow, you can still be a quarterback. It's almost as if they're brainwashing Tim Tebow into thinking that he can be a quality NFL quarterback here.
They work for him. They're not going to tell him that he sucks. Right? They work for him.
But they need to be thinking realistically here.
It's just the same situation with Justin Bieber.
Dude, I got a good idea. Don't give it. All right, Justin Bieber, dude. Okay,
the people that work.
Let's not get into
that. Hold on, Frank.
I'm going to say this.
Frank, hold on, Frank. Hold on a second. Frank,
the Jacksonville Jaguars should have signed Tim Tebow last year.
Frank, hold on a second. I want to share an analogy. It's the same thing with Justin Bieber. His people are telling him, don't worry, you're the man, you're this, you can't do nothing wrong. And look what's happening to him. It's the same freaking thing. Because he has nobody around him that's going to tell him the truth and say no.
I don't see cuffs on Tim Tebow's hands.
Come on, you know what I'm saying.
Dude, I don't see cuffs on Tim Tebow's hands. But anyway, why didn't the Jacksonville Jaguars try to sign Tim Tebow? Seriously,
because
Tim
he's
Tebow's
not
from the Jacksonville area. What more do you have to lose?
Because he's not a quarterback, and
dude,
he doesn't.
But having Tim Tebow under center, all right, maybe you don't win games under Tim Tebow, but you know what? You're setting yourself up to be the possible number one draft pick.
He does not want to play.
Draft.
He does not want to play any other position but quarterback. That's why they didn't take him.
Dude, but Jacksonville should have been – I'm just saying that Jacksonville should have been thinking this from the standpoint that they could have had the number one draft pick. You have Tim Tebow as your quarterback. You don't win games. You have the worst record in the league. And with that number one draft pick, you draft a quarterback. You draft Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know. Do you go after Johnny Manziel?
The owner didn't want him. End of story. That's it.
But it would have put butts in the seats.
You want to know something? The owner didn't want to bring somebody in who could just put butts in the seats. He wants a win. Tim Tebow is not a winning quarterback.
Okay, maybe so, but if you have Tim Tebow, then he helps your future because you
how?
That number of
How does he help your
future?
You
release Tebow.
How does he help your future?
He helps your future by not winning games. I'm talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
Jaguars. He's from Jacksonville.
I understand all that crap. How the hell does he help your future? He makes it worse.
Okay, you remember, obviously, the win against Pittsburgh in the wild card round a couple years back, right?
Jacksonville does not want to have to give Tim Tebow $100 million as the first round pick. He ain't worth it.
Dude, you just signed him to a 1-year contract.
It's not like that. It's not like that anymore in the NFL draft. There's mandatory contracts now.
Gentlemen, do you think we ought to run to the final commercial break here?
I do believe so, my friend. I'm glad you're staying out of this. Hey, we'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
I had PTSD. Once I was back from Iraq, I was distant from everybody in my family. We had a reunion of our unit, and you'd hear these spouses say, "Is your husband doing that? My husband's doing that too. I thought it was just us." And really understanding that, hey, this is a common experience.
I learned more to listen to what he was saying, and that made it easier for me to understand where his pain was coming from.
Warriors should know that resources are available. Learn more at realwarriors.net.
My mother made the best toffee in the world. It's delicious. So now we've turned her toffee into a business. My goal was to take an idea and make it happen. I'm Janet Long, and I formed my toffee company through LegalZoom. I never really thought I would make money doing what I love.
We created LegalZoom to help people start their business and launch their dreams. Go to LegalZoom.com today and make your business dream a reality. At LegalZoom.com, we put the law on your side.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion?
Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone?
It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't too.
Don't wait until it's too late. Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
All I want is to be loved.
All right, welcome back to the show here on Sports World Radio, the final segment of this wailing 2 hours we've been going on. Before we went to the break, we got Frank Sprankle joining us on Tuesdays and Thursdays. In the second hour of the show, of course, joining me like he does each and every day, Sean Mann, the co-host. Before we went to break, we were talking about Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow is the worst NFL quarterback in history.
Well, that's debatable, but yes, in terms of having the actual ability as a quarterback, yes, I will say that Tim Tebow may be one of the worst in history.
Unbelievable.
But hey, he was must-see. But one thing Tim Tebow was great for the league. When he was playing with Denver and the Tebow time in 2011, that was must-see TV. As a matter of fact, I want to forget about Tebow time because Tebow time ruined my Bears when the Bears went into Denver one week in the 2011 season and they got Tebowed.
Hey, listen, it might have been must-see TV for you, but every time he came on my TV, I turned him off.
Wait, Tim Tebow came on your TV. Did you try to smash it? Did you try to take a sledgehammer and smash your TV?
No, I just turned my TV. I just turned the channel.
What did you watch? Okay, but what did you watch in its place?
Friends.
Anything
but Tim Tebow.
Anything but
when
Tim
they came
Tebow.
And talked about him on ESPN, click. When they talked about him on the news, click. When they talked about him on anything, click.
Well, how about this? Maybe Tim Tebow could be on the Bears there, Frank. Would that help the team out a little bit?
Hey, you want to know how good? You want to know how good Tim Tebow is? He couldn't even make a freaking Canadian football team. Okay.
Okay, so that's a first. Somebody that never made a Canadian football team actually played in the NFL. Oh my goodness!
He couldn't even make a Russian football team, dude. Okay. Come on, man. He's not.
He's won a playoff game. Tim Tebow.
He has won
the playoffs.
That is true. He did. Yeah.
Well,
you know what? I remember my eyes were just expansive.
Well, you know
my
what?
eyes had never been as big as that 80-yard touchdown pass to Demaryius Thomas that Sunday in the Mile High City.
Tim Tebow won a playoff game. Well, so did Tony Romo.
He won a playoff game in overtime, 29-23 against Pittsburgh in the Mile High City.
Tony Romo's got a playoff win too.
Well, Jeff, you're saying Tony Romo is better than Tim Tebow.
Damn right he is. He's still in the league playing, ain't he?
Yes, he is.
There you go. There it is. Tim Tebow should be a wide receiver or a tight end in the NFL.
Tony Romo also has a wife that it seems the networks love to showcase.
Yeah, I don't care about her either. I think for me personally, I think that's for show.
What I don't like about Tim Tebow, like I've always said, is his religion. Why do we always have to hear about your religion in the football? Leave it out.
Okay, well, let me make another argument along those lines, Sean. I have no problem with him expressing his faith. Then what do you say along the lines of somebody such as Michael Sam, who recently, of course, came out and said he was gay? I mean, should that be concealed too?
No, but he doesn't need to shove his freaking beliefs down my throat on TV. I'm not there to watch him praise God and do all that crap. I'm there to watch him play a football game. That's what I'm there to watch him do.
I'm here to watch the NFL, not to bring in religion into the NFL. It's totally the opposite.
Exactly.
But that's an expression. That's what Tim Tebow does.
Well, you want to know something? For a non-Catholic, he's pissing us off.
He's annoying. He's annoying with bringing his religious beliefs into football.
Exactly right. For a non-Catholic, he's pissing me off. when he
All right,
does
let me ask you this. Let's say Tim Tebow ends up back in the NFL. Let's say it does happen. I know in all probability it's not, but let's say it does happen and Tim Tebow goes into his Tebowing. Should the flag come in for Tebowing after a touchdown?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. You bet. That's excessive. You bet.
So treat it like end zone dances.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Hey, let's move on. I do want to talk about, listen, everybody knows as much as I love football, baseball's my favorite sport. And yes, I do want to talk about Barry Bonds and his return to the San Francisco Giants. So what is he teaching these young ball players coming up within the San Francisco Giants organization? Okay, guys, this is how you shoot it up in the butt.
Yes. How to take steroids without getting caught. 101. Okay. I don't know. Is he teaching him hitting?
Listen, Barry Bonds, why is the San Francisco Giants organization bringing back Barry Bonds? I mean, why? After all, listen, nobody cared about the fact that he hit 756. It wasn't like what it was 40 years ago when Hank Aaron surpassed Babe Ruth on that night in Atlanta at Fulton County Stadium.
Frank, because he's still trying to pay off his steroid bill.
Well, it's also mainly because the Giants have a lot of respect for him, and probably around all of San Francisco and all the suburbs, they find him to be the most popular player there because they think, Barry Bonds did a lot. He got the Giants to playoffs. He took them to the World Series in 2002.
Sean, I hate to tell you, San Francisco, that's the only place that does love him.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yes.
It's the truth.
Absolutely. Could you imagine if Barry Bonds had broken the all-time home run record in one of two cities, Atlanta or Milwaukee, where you have statues of Hank Aaron? Could you imagine what type of an ovation he would have gotten, considering you have the two cities that Hank Aaron is synonymous with, Atlanta and Milwaukee, and there's statues of him outside of both Turner Field and Miller Park.
I can also tell you, Frank, I'll never forget the night back in 2007, August 07, watching ESPN. I see Bonds hit the home run at home against the Nationals. There was no enthusiasm from baseball fans after that because of what he did with performance-enhancing drugs. And especially, and remember against the Dodgers, every time he went in there in that 07 season, Dodger fans just booed the heck out of him, just like Padre fans would. And Jeff, you've been in San Diego for a long time. I'm sure you remember thinking, boy, if I went to a Padres game, I would have done the very same thing and booed steroid boy Bonds.
I never went. I went to an opening day game here in San Diego, and they were playing the Giants. That's probably one of the only times I went and was there for steroid boy, because I don't like him, so I hardly ever went to any of the games that were here that he was in.
The picture of Barry Bonds recently, obviously he's been in a cave the last 7 years since retiring. Well, actually he had no choice but to retire. Nobody signed him after the 2007 season.
Blackballed.
But don't you notice he has lost a lot of weight? His head is thinner.
Yeah, of course.
He actually has lost apparently 35 pounds off his body.
Yeah,
he's lost a lot of weight, no question about
35 is a lot.
That's what happens when you stop taking roids and stop working out every single day.
Okay, gentlemen, let me ask you this question. In your own heart, who is the all-time home run leader?
Oh, my
God. It's Hank Aaron for me. I don't care what the record book says. It's going to be Hank Aaron in my heart.
I'm going to go with Hank Aaron on that one. You know, like that night when he hit that home run, to break Babe Ruth's record.
I remember that.
There wasn't any cheating involved with that.
Yeah, no, it's got to be Hank Aaron.
No, of course there was no cheating. As a matter of fact, the memorable image of him hitting the homer Dowling, and by the way, many people probably don't even know the pitcher against the Washington Nationals that Barry Bonds hit the home run off of. But I got to also tell you, a few years ago, you know how you had those two young men who were able to get us onside Hank Aaron after he hit the homer?
Mm-hmm.
They actually reunited about 5 years ago for the 35th anniversary.
Really?
It was pretty cool. They had a press conference. The three of them went out to dinner together. So run on the field after Hank Aaron hits his historic homer. You get to go out for dinner with him later on in your middle-age years.
Yeah, 35 years later. I wonder who paid for dinner.
And then remember, And then remember when he broke Mark McGwire's record in 2001. I'll never forget that, too, when he hit 73 home runs and he broke McGwire's record. And I was like saying, the man's on steroids. There's no question about it. Just like I'll never forget that 98 season with McGwire and Sosa. That was a great race, by the way, but McGwire was getting it from the media saying the guy's taking steroids to break Roger Maris's record from 1961.
Guys, I'm at fault here. I will admit fault because I remember 1998. Obviously, I went to a number of games in 1998. I actually went to a Cubs-Cardinals game in St. Louis a month before McGwire hit 62, likewise Sammy Sosa. I didn't think anything was going on at the time.
Me
I was
neither.
a younger man than I was now. But you know what? I got to say this. Shame on me for not realizing that something was wrong here. That's my fault.
Well, Jeff, what did you think of that race?
I didn't think anything
when McGwire and Sosa were breaking Maris's record.
I didn't think anything was wrong with it either. I didn't know that they were on steroids.
I didn't either, and that's why I'm saying shame on me. I should have known something was up
Frank,
here.
how can you do shame on you? How are you going to know? Yeah, I should have known just by looking at him.
Look at Paul. Look at the Paul Bunyan body of Mark McGwire.
I could stand two guys next to you that look exactly the same. One guy's on steroids, one guy's not. And I can guarantee you cannot pick the guy who's on steroids.
Yep.
I guarantee it, Frank.
You know what's amazing? If we didn't have you guys ever read Juice by Jose Canseco?
Yes.
I have read the book from start to finish, and I'll tell you what, everything in that book is truth-telling. Because who's suing Jose Canseco these days?
Nobody.
Who has sued him? Nobody. Who has sued him since it came out?
Nobody.
Oh, and by the way, on Twitter, Jose Canseco is probably the most entertaining athlete to follow.
Yes, and you know what? His book was dead on, and he was absolutely right.
Well, you got to remember, too. Remember in March of 2005, remember when the House, actually the Congress, called up all of the baseball players who took about the steroids, and a lot of the players denied it. McGwire, Rafael Palmeiro, the list was big.
Those guys will never get into the Hall of Fame whatsoever. Hey, we got to get the fly out of here, boys.
Oh no, I got to bail.
That's the fastest 2 hour of sports talk on the internet. We'll be back tomorrow, 3 p.m. on the West, 6 p.m. on the East, and if you live in the Central,
please figure that out for yourself.
That's right. Until then, my friends, remember, you only have one life to live. Live it long, live it strong, and live it proud. And please don't forget, life may suck. Oh, I forgot what it was.
The alternative is unacceptable.
But the alternative, I always forget sometimes, but the alternative is unacceptable. For Sean Mann, for Frank Sprankle, I'm Jeff Escow. This has been Sports World Radio.
Goodbye.
Hey, boys, Stimpy. We sure had fun today, kid. So long, kids. Come on, Stimpy, say goodbye.
Where are we going?